Welcome to the Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Insightful and witty commentary, probing interviews, and detours from the beaten path.
Every once in a while, we have to bring out the big dog.
Yeah.
Oh, God help us. It's time for Danny Unleashed. Sponsored by Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. Go to eastonroofing.com for more.
Oh, yes, indeed. I can tell you integrity does matter. I had some issues with my roof. Called Easton Roofing. Did not come out and give me some song and dance about how I need a brand new roof. Didn't tell me to run to the insurance agency, which can be a big, big problem. I know we've got a lot of storms going on. If you get hit with hail and you file a false claim, that can create real problems for you down the road for commercial and residential roofing. Easton Roofing, 4 straight years voted best of houses. That's the best in the area. They've won it 4 straight years. Angie's List Super Service Award winner with Easton Roofing. There's no payment collected until you're 100% satisfied. I know that because I just had them do a repair at our roof at home. Credit cards and PayPal are accepted. You can call 913-257-5426. If you're driving around, be safe. Find them online at eastonroofing.com, EASTON roofing.com.
Dan from Eastern Roofing was out yesterday doing the preliminaries for my gutter cleaning project, a small thing that many roofing companies don't do, but Eastern Roofing will do it. And so they'll be coming out, and he just sized things up, talked to me about what my wants and needs were, very pleasant, and then we'll move ahead with the project next week.
Very good. I like it.
Yes.
Where to start with you, Danny? Where do we begin?
That's up to you, man.
Let's begin with the NFL draft. It's coming to Kansas City.
Wonderful thing for the city.
You like it. You're good.
I'm absolutely good with it. There's nothing in any way, shape, or form.
See, I really thought this would be one where I'd get you unleashed. I thought you were
I'm going to be unleashed.
Oh, really?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
So how are you unleashed if it's a good thing? It's such a good thing.
It's fantastic for Kansas City. It's inexplicable that the NFL draft, which is another indication of the absolute incredible power of the National Football League, has created an event out of really one of the most paralyzingly boring things I've ever spent 4 hours doing in my life. I went to the 2012 draft. Now, this was before they turned it into more of a production, but still it was at
the
radio.
12 or the 13? Which is that? The Eric Fisher?
Eric Fisher. 13, is that 13?
Yeah.
Okay. 13 then. Maybe I was thinking about the dismal
2012
season that led to the 2013 number one selection.
Yes, you're correct.
And it's a wonderful television and radio product, the NFL draft. There's great analysis. It's fun to watch. You have trades in between, analysis.
That was the last year
on
it was
the board.
in New York, wasn't it?
I think it was the last year before they.
Whatever
it was at Radio City
Music
Hall. But if you're a fan there, and there were many fans, it was packed at Radio City Music Hall, up to the rafters. But in person, it's just dreadful. Now, I think they've dressed it up a little bit, but you don't really see that when you're on TV. What you see is the commissioner go out there, and he makes the selection, and bro hugs the guy, and, off we go back to the desk, and we talk about who's still left and who's falling and who's rising, and, it's good entertainment. In person, it's pathetic. I mean, 4 hours of my life that I'll never get back.
How about the sales job you were doing for everybody to rush right down there and pack Union Station? Get on the hill, get your seat so you can.
But it doesn't matter. What they've turned it into is, there's concerts every night. They've created a situation where they said, let's celebrate air. We're going to have the National Air Festival next year in Chicago. Come on down. Breathe it in. Come by the hundreds of thousands. So as a get for Kansas City, it's incredible. There were 600. I can't explain it. There are 600,000.
Do you buy the numbers? Do you buy the 600,000? Because when
I know there is somebody in town, and I can't remember who it is, who's a general debunker of all things crowds. because he does square footage and things like that. I think he started with the Plaza Lights Festival that they always have some estimate of, 200,000 or something, and he would come out and say, this is impossible, it can't happen. So I generally think the figures are a little inflated, but still, You saw in Nashville what it was like. Now, hey, if you want to go and visit a cool place like Nashville or come here and discover Kansas City, so be it. I mean, that's fantastic. But the event itself is nothing. I mean, it's absolutely zero. They try to, they bring a great of the past to walk out there and bumble through his lines and about the draft choice or whatever, and it's great to see, some old great Bronco or Chief from 25 years ago. Hey, that guy's still alive. Look, he's walking. But the entertainment value of that specific draft night is not there.
Right.
What has been created is a festival, a National Football League festival. So that's why it's great for the city, and it's going to be fantastic, and it will be fun because of all the things they will create that surround it. I'm sure they'll be having things at the P&L. But if you think it's fun to sit there and watch the commissioner and have a pick come up every 15 minutes, it's not.
But
it is not.
Do they do it differently now that they're outside? Do they pipe in the television?
I don't really know.
And you can
it's probably better.
Big, huge video boards, and then sound with speakers around where you can hear the NFL Network or ESPN.
I'm not positive that they do that. They should. If they don't,
right.
I know they didn't as of 2013. There was nothing going. In between there, nothing happened. I mean, absolutely nothing happened. And hey, being a fan with other fans, wearing your colors, there are many people who suspect that the NFL dresses up people in the colors of the teams there, that they hire people, because the thought that there's actually
every team
1,200 Jets fans there or something like that, it seems a little preposterous to many. So I think there's some suspicion that, at the event they'll, give somebody free tickets for the next, for 10 games next year or something like that if you put your Jets gear on and when the pick's coming up, wave your hands in front of the camera, whatever.
Or are there that many people that are just this nutty about football that this is it, this is all they've got? Right, I don't want to say all they've got. This is that important to them. That's not fair to say it's all they've got. I apologize for that.
I think representing your team and saying that you're a big, what it is, it's a way of saying I'm
the biggest fan.
I'm a great fan.
Yeah. And
there's nothing wrong with that. No. I mean, we always used to be a little amazed at the amount of people who would take their summer vacation to go to Chiefs training camp. I wouldn't have done it. There were other things to do there. There was good fishing, and, you could go to a ball game in Minneapolis.
Golf. I know you found every golf course in the area.
You'd have to fight the national bird of Minnesota, the mosquito, but unbelievable mosquitoes in Minnesota. But still, even that was, you got to watch some football.
Right.
I mean, as it was, especially back in the day.
Then they actually
they had Oklahoma drills and contact, and they would scrimmage and so on and so forth. But this, as I said, is there's not much as far as what we're talking about as the actual event is concerned, but they've created a football festival. And away from the actual few hours of the first round of the draft, which is really the hook, that's not much. But now they'll have concerts. They'll have, a fan fest where you can throw the ball through a hoop and all that stuff. So, I mean, it will be, that part will be cool. But I think what the point is I'm making is that this just goes to the incredible impact that the National Football League and anything they touch pretty much turns to gold. And this seemed like an odd, when they announced they were going to do it, it seemed like an odd idea. And I thought it was a weird idea because I'd just been to the draft and I saw what it wasn't.
So you thought it was going to be a dog?
I thought it was questionable that it would be a big deal, but I should have been, I was epic fail on my part, to quote Scott Pioli. I should know that anything about the National Football League. I do have some context, however, in the fact that we had a couple of things that happened this week about the National Football League that show its impact. That, Game of Thrones would have been the 72nd highest-rated football game last year, their finale.
It was not on over-the-air television,
right.
for whatever that's worth.
It wasn't.
It does take a premium cable package to get it,
but
because I don't have it. That's one of the reasons why I didn't get into the show.
Yeah, I don't have HBO either. We dropped it a few years ago.
I don't dislike HBO. I might get it back when I cut the cord, which I'm going to do. I'm trying to get done. If I don't get it done before the football season, I'll probably pay the outrageous price for the Sunday ticket.
But a lot of people also do things that make football probably underrated, as it were. You know, they'll access football in a way that isn't shown in ratings. So yeah, if people want to stick up for Game of Thrones, I get it. But anyway, it just shows how incredible the NFL is. I mean, and how people. And I think the 72nd game was the Browns and the Titans at noon or something. I mean, it literally was the game. So I had that context, but the other one was on the other side of it. I just came back from Europe.
Right.
And I don't think we have any grip on the fact that soccer in Barcelona and in Spain dwarfs American football in the intensity of the way that people consume it. Because it literally is the only sport that they really care about in countries like that. England, little bit of rugby, cricket, to a certain extent. They like their boxing. They like their F1. Lewis Hamilton is
that's a big deal.
But it's soccer is it. I mean, and when I was in Barcelona, they had just won the first leg.
Where's golf fit in there?
Not real high.
Really? Interesting.
You know, in England around the Open, you know, they have one thing about England is they have, you know, gobs of tabloid newspapers, and the country's so small that they have real impact, and so there's a lot of gossip and things like that. But in being in Spain, it was right in the midst of the Champions League, and it was omnipresent. I mean, it was everything. The newspaper had like 40 pages of coverage, 20 of which was messy. So that there's a fine professional basketball league in Spain, but they don't really care about it. It's not
one of the best.
I mean, here, probably second or third best in the world. But it is amazing how it is even more omnipresent and powerful than American football is in America. And we know how powerful American football is, as evidenced by the draft.
Right.
And the fact that cities are now so consumed, and why wouldn't they be? Incredible get for Kansas City. And I think
and you'll be right there in front, face painted red and gold.
Probably not.
Laurent Duvernay-Tardif jersey on you, Zuba pants, going nuts for the cameras.
But even
and we'll see the check sticking out of the back pocket of your Zubas that the NFL paid you to be the raucous Chiefs fan. Or even better, you'll be in Titan gear.
Right.
The actor paid to be a Titan fan that made the trip to the NFL draft. That's Danny Klingscale.
Actually, even then, that year when I went, the afternoon before, people were lining up to get I think the tickets were free, but you had to go get them.
Right.
And people were lined up. I went for a run, and I was running past the line, basically, the previous afternoon. And there were a group of Chiefs fans that I talked to. About 7 or 8 Chiefs fans had made a trip to New York to go to the draft, to see their number one pick get to see Eric Fisher in the end get selected an offensive lineman. Yeah! So they spent their money, and it's New York too. I mean, it's been
a good pick based upon the talent that was in the draft.
It has been a good pick. There's no question about that. But congratulations to the Kansas City, all the people involved, and getting that done. And I think Patrick Mahomes certainly has a major place in the fact that they did get it. I mean, 2 of the 4 places that were selected were Cleveland and Kansas City, with the new young hot quarterbacks, and I'm sure Kansas City will do it right. It is tough competition.
How will they do it right?
Yeah,
trade out of the first, second, and third rounds?
No, I mean
not pick till Saturday.
I mean, the city will do it right. I'm not talking about the Chiefs. The Chiefs, yeah, but that is interesting. Do you think that the Chiefs, there'd almost be a little pressure on them? Could you keep the first round pick?
Like the Saints didn't have a pick till the 4th, right? Can you imagine if you were doing Bourbon Street with the draft and would get around to the Saints till 10 a.m.
One thing we have to be ready
Saturday.
One thing we have to be ready for, though, is this. 2023 will be what, the 6th or 7th or 8th time the draft has been done this way, and most of the people who will